Hi, my name is Susan and welcome to Sketchbook Stories. In this series, I'm going to open up the pages of my own sketchbooks to show you exactly what's inside. Let's get stuck in. Hi everyone, and a huge welcome to this episode of Sketchbook Stories, and today I'm going to be opening the pages of a relatively recent sketchbook of mine. It is a pith sketchbook, so it's got a hard-bound hard cover, lovely smooth pages, and it opens really flat to give this really long, thin spread, which I love. Now this page here is the page that I'm going to show you. So I use this for primarily sort of landscape sketching, but I wanted to focus on this page today and tell you the story behind these little thumbnail sketches. Now I took this sketchbook out with me when I went on travels to the New Forest. I love sketching outdoors. I love taking sketchbooks with me. But sometimes when I go out, I might not have too long to sketch, or sometimes if I go, I'm with somebody else and perhaps I just have a few minutes. So rather than not sketching at all, what I love to do is to get these very small value or tonal studies just using two pens, grey and black. These are brush pens. And this is all of the New Forest, different scenes that I've studied when out walking. And I will just literally take this sketchbook, a grey brush pen and a black brush pen, and I'll just stop, take a quick study, move on, stop, take a quick study, move on. So this wouldn't have all been done in one walk. This would have been done a couple at a time. This is a very this was all one walk here. I'd have walked a bit, stopped, walked a bit more, stopped, walked a bit more, stopped, and just recorded the scene. And it's a way of understanding composition and, finding the horizon line, balancing where you want the elements of all that landscape to go, and also studying tone, the light and the dark. And by just using the grey and the black brush pen, you can record the essential information in a very, very quick, three-toned sketch, essentially the white of the paper, the grey and the black. So how I would construct and create something like this is I would start with my black pen and first of all create a thumbnail box, and this can be as big as you want it to be. These are quick studies. These are ways of simply recording information to give you, those tonal values. They're quick and they're fun, great to do in a sketchbook. So what I would normally firstly do is try and mark in the horizon line. So here I need to make a decision. Do I want the horizon line right up here? Do I want it in the middle or down? Normally in a sketch we would think about the rule of thirds, so having these kind of third lines and allowing the horizon to sit on one of them. But as this is an experimentation, it's a study, it's a little sketch in a sketchbook, pop it wherever you want. So I am going to go high. I'm going to pop my horizon line just up here. And I'm just looking at this as an example, so I'm just going to sort of show you how I would have created this kind of sketch. I then mark in some major shapes. So I've got this big pathway here. So I'd normally sort of just mark in the major shapes. A lot of these areas here, they're kind of bushes or darker bits of foliage. And usually I look for the dark bits. So this, for example, is, the tree line here on the horizon. So I would look for those dark areas and mark them in, just almost squint my eyes as I look at the landscape. Would squint my eyes, look at that scene. I would filter it down to a small area and just mark in those dark areas. You just try and record the basic tonal information and figure out where a composition would work on the page. And then I add in my mid-tone. So I would sort of look at, sometimes almost completely blocking in an area. Like here, all this is mid-tone, this ground, etc. Sometimes there's a little bit of tone to put in the sky, and sometimes here on this pathway, for example. So that's how I would create one of these sketches, but I would be looking directly at a landscape. I'm just demoing it here based upon this one, just to kind of show you how I would create it. But these are really handy things to do, these little studies, as a way of planning out compositions, of doing something really quickly so that you're not sketching, so that you're doing something if you've only got a couple of minutes, and also understanding light and dark. So it's what's called tone or value in a sketch, in a piece. So I could take the information here and then create a larger sketch and take more time or move into colour. But understanding the tones within a landscape study in these little thumbnails, it enables you to get that sense of depth when you look at it, when you look through. And it just helps with your powers of observation to be able to look at something and in a couple of minutes record the essential information, pop it down, close your sketchbook, move on. And I would normally have these two pens tucked in a pocket. I have a really nice big walking coat that has great big pockets, and I would pop this in a pocket as well. But I mean, you can have a small sketchbook like this. This would work perfectly well for doing a little landscape study. So you just need a couple of brush pens. I like the pith, these are the Faber-Castell Pith Artist pens, and they come in all different shades. Tombow pens are really good as well, again come in different shades with the brush pen end. So you can find the tones that you like. And you can even get a couple of different tones. So I could add on this even darker grey just to add a little bit more variation in value. But I tend to keep it simple and just have a light grey and a black pen and work from there. This one's more like a fountain pen with a refillable cartridge. So it's quite handy. I like it, and it never runs out because I can just replace the cartridge. But you can of course get your Tombow pens and your Pith Artist pens from Faber-Castell in black as well. So you just need a grey and a black and you are good to go. So that's the story behind this sketchbook page. This one went walking out with me, and I hope you have fun. Maybe next time you go walking, just grab a little sketchbook, do some of these little thumbnail studies and have a lot of fun.